How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Bizarro World. If we weren't already living in Bizarro World, we sure are now. The president is a reality TV real estate mogul. The media is obsessed with him. Stories about guerrilla channels and broadcast towers. It is just the most insane, bad faith, disingenuous nonsense that's been dominating the press. My God. You're looking at the screen right now, and you can see my tweet, so you know where we're going with this. I tweeted this morning, I have lost all respect for the CPJ. That's the Committee to Protect Journalists. Trump certainly isn't the best, but they are countries I cannot return to because of my reporting. They are countries that wouldn't even let me in. You see right here, this is a link from The Hill. Press Freedom Group names Trump top global press oppressor. Seriously. Trump. He's the worst. Let me tell you a story. Turkey. It imprisons more journalists than any other country on the planet. Eritrea does not allow journalists in the country. North Korea, same thing. Government minders. People are thrown into work camps for sedition in many of these countries. Venezuela accused me of being a spy, and I was forced to flee the country. Pundits on television or some kind of radio show in Venezuela, they were showing pictures of me, accusing me of being a spy. What has Trump done? He's complained a whole lot about the fake news. There have been some instances, Trump did restrict access to some news organizations from the White House press briefings for a little while, but for the most part, can we criticize some of the things he's said and done about the press? Sure. Is the press ripe for criticism? Of course they are. Now, the president is allowed, in my opinion, to complain about the press because they're covering him. They're showing bad coverage about Trump almost nonstop. Some of it is warranted. A lot of it, I think, is totally blown out of proportion. So you've got two factions, journalists who are calling out the president who's calling out the journalists, and that just seems like, I don't know, totally normal. So let's jump over to a friend of mine, Lindsay Snell. She's a journalist. She said, bad headline. CPJ cited Erdogan most. He's in charge of Turkey. And with 180 journalists in prison in Turkey, appropriately so. Yes, someone responded. Yes, but for other categories. Trump was still named the #1 oppressor of the press, which is a joke. I don't understand how they don't see that they are a self-fulfilling prophecy. Lindsay responded, agree. It's for publicity, and it's succeeding in that regard. But there is no comparing a president whining about fake news with a regime that sentenced an editor to 22.5 years for a magazine cover. You know we're living in Bizarro World. We've been living in Bizarro World for a little while. I woke up to hear that I believe it's the committee, yes, the Committee to Protect Journalists named President Trump as the winner of its overall achievement in undermining global press freedom award in its Press Oppressors Awards Monday. This is a real thing. This is a real thing. It's like there's two universes, right? There's the in-group and the out-group, but even within the anti-Trump, the Trump derangement center, whatever you call it, faction, there's also two universes. One where Trump is a totalitarian blowhard who is oppressing minorities and threatening the safety and integrity of our nation and is Orange Hitler, and the other where he is a buffoon who can't get anything done and he's an orange clown. They call him a clown. They call him Hitler. You can't have it both ways. Either Trump is a totalitarian dictator who's overruling, is taking over the government and undermining the press, or he's a buffoon who gets 2 scoops of ice cream and has bigger salt shakers than other people. It seems like it's, when I see this, and it's coming from the same media, these two like anti-Trump but opposing narratives, it seems to me it's more just about how can we make the president look bad. Obama was praised so often. He was criticized for sure. It's not like, Obama had a free pass. Some people said he has a free pass, but no, he was criticized a lot for a lot of things he did. A lot of journalists called him out for drone strikes and things like that. But for the most part, he did not get attacked nearly as much as Trump has. People called Obama the deporter-in-chief. And I'm not trying to deflect. I don't like the whole whataboutism arguments. But let's look to the past, to past presidents. And You know, I was watching Family Guy the other day, and they were making fun of George W. Bush very similarly to how people make fun of Trump today. I think the difference is, with social media, people have seen an opportunity to attack Trump as a way to get traffic. Obviously, half the country doesn't like him, so anything that comes out against him is going to work. That means sometimes you're going to hear that he's Orange Hitler, literally taking over the world and causing, you know, he's threatening minority groups, and he's one of the most dangerous things to ever happen, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to hear he's a buffoon, orange idiot who can't get anything done, and he's mentally unstable. So, I don't know, what is it? Is he mentally unstable, or is he Orange Hitler? Because I guess he could technically be both, but the argument that he's mentally unstable is more just, it's more about him tweeting that he's a genius and that he's stable. It's just ridiculous. Let's look at this story a little bit. While previous U.S. presidents have each criticized the press to some degree, they have also made public commitments to uphold its essential role in democracy at home and abroad, the committee wrote. Trump, by contrast, has consistently undermined domestic news outlets and declined to publicly raise freedom of the press with repressive leaders such as Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Trump was also named the runner-up in the most thin-skinned category, losing the top spot to Turkish President Erdogan. He regularly attacks outlets and individual journalists on Twitter and in speeches calling them sad, failing, or garbage, the committee wrote of Trump. Since declaring his presidential candidacy in 2015, Trump has posted about 1,000 tweets critical of the press. Okay. Trump's critical of the press. Has Trump imprisoned any journalists? I don't think so. Oh, it says, the Fake News Awards. Those going to the most corrupt and biased of the mainstream media will be presented to the losers on Wednesday, January 17th, rather than this coming Monday. The interest in and importance of these awards is far greater than anyone could have anticipated. My God! The balls of this man to attack and undermine our press by insulting people. Yeah, by insulting people. The President of the United States, in my opinion, is wasting a whole lot of time by doing this. It's silly, and I think he will lose a lot of respect around the world for a lot of the things he tweets. Yes, it makes him look silly. But let's be reasonable people here. The President insulting journalists and calling them fake news, how does that make him the top press oppressor of the world when Erdogan literally puts people in prisons for magazine covers? When countries flat out don't let people in if they're a journalist. It was, you know, look, I don't want to get too specific because of the security issues, but when I was at Vice, we were talking about going to a country that's considered particularly oppressive. And you know why we didn't do it? They said, you know what? Even if you go in as a tourist, you're an American, they run a background check on you, they're going to know you're a journalist, you're in trouble. So that's the world we live in. There are a lot of countries on this planet that if you say something, you'll be killed. You will be flat out killed. Pirate radio still, you know, exists. It's very important in a lot of parts of the world. The Committee to Protect Journalism. The Committee to Protect Journalists. I once thought, I was never like the biggest fan of them because I don't know a whole lot about them, and I've known they've been criticized for some things. But I was always like, I like the idea, you know, protect journalists, fight for press freedom, because I believe in freedom of the press. But this move, my God. It's bizarre world, isn't it? It's just really that dumb. You know, when I see Trump go up at his rallies and he just sits there complaining, whining, oh, fake news media, and he points to the journalists, it makes me laugh. I'm like, yup. The press is supposed to criticize government. The government can then criticize whoever the hell they want. Individuals can criticize whoever they want. They can't pass laws or anything about it. To imply that Trump is the worst in the world because he whines. To quote Lindsay. God, my God. Can I get off this train? Can people... I'm done. I'll see you all tomorrow.